Hi, I'm Warren Bingham. I'm the Executive Chairman of MedTech International. What am I thinking about? It's going to be cold. I suspect I'm going to wake up in a very wet sheets of cardboard. I'm extraordinarily grateful for what I have in my life and the fact that I have a place to call home. Ultimately, there's over 100,000 people around Australia who don't have that privilege. And it's really tragic. We need to do more as a community, as government, and as business to help those who are faced with this challenge of where do they sleep, and more importantly, the question of and the concern that a lot of them have, and that is how they're going to be woken up in the morning. We need to fix this problem. It's not an easy fix, and providing housing is part of the solution. It's not the only solution. But we've got to do more. We've got to collectively get together and create better solutions and better opportunities for those who are really finding it very lonely and finding it very tough. Reflections of the presentations from this evening, I think one that's extremely confronting, not their presentation, but the reality of what they shared with us. Three very separate people with their own individual stories and very separate and very unique backgrounds, all different to each other. And what was, I think, a strong theme is that the journey to their homelessness situation was from very different reasons, but it happened quite quickly. And in the process of that journey, they became extraordinarily lonely and felt incredibly vulnerable. So my impressions were, one, that we really do fall into the comfort of our own lives, where we do see people who are homeless, and they're not necessarily the ones on the greater scale who are really suffering homelessness. And I think we don't consciously see the real people who are doing it tough every day of our lives. It's just not something that we're attuned to. Where am I sleeping? I'm sleeping on the grass, right out the front of the members stand. There's a slight slope on the grass, and so I guess my head's going to be facing towards the centre of the Sydney Cricket Ground. It's very damp. We had beautiful blue sky day with no clouds, and as a result, we've got we have no clouds this evening. It's going to be cold, and a lot of moisture in the air, and the grass is already wet. So this is going to be an experience, and I hope sleep is the operative word. I don't usually sleep at these things. This is my 7th event at the CEO Sleepout. I'm usually the last one to fall asleep, and subsequently the last one to actually wake up. I've often found myself in the next morning waking up at 7 or 8 o'clock and looking around and everybody else is gone, and I'm the last or one of the last few there. But anyway, it's just one night. This is a way of me being able to support a great cause, to share the experience with those in my world, and more importantly, raise the awareness of the issues of homelessness, and also funds to help those as well. A message for people who are experiencing homelessness, I firstly would say is don't give up. The second thing I would say is find somewhere for people to help. There are services, there are organisations, and there are people who dedicate their time and their lives to help those in whatever way they can. It's clearly a very complex situation once you're homeless. And I think one of the challenges up front is navigating that complex labyrinth of service providers and conditions and terms of which you need to meet. But there are emergency housing arrangements, there are shelters. The first thing that you need to do if you're in a homeless situation is to find somewhere that you can call home and be undercover and be relatively safe and off the street. That's the first step that I would say to go and find. Don't ever feel like you're on your own and that you have to do it on your own. It can be a very lonely place, and I think finding someone who can, and finding an organisation who can help you through that is got to be the most paramount thing to start with. A special thanks to all of my sponsors and supporters for the last 7 years and for this year in particular. We have collectively, as a CEO movement, raised over $33 million in the last 11 years, and that has no doubt had a significant impact in helping those really suffering from homelessness. So thank you from my heart to each and every one of you for the wonderful support. I'm doing this for you, and I'm doing this for me as a way of helping those who really do need the help and don't have the benefits and the privileges that we take for granted every single day. So thanks very much.